The following presentation, titled "The Anatomy of a Research Paper," is presented by Team Expression, comprising of Tanya Bennett and Shanda Smith. Firstly, we will examine what are the parts of a research paper. Generally, a research paper has between 8 to 10 parts. Core components of a research paper include a title, which begins a research paper, followed by the abstract. This is then followed by the introduction, then the literature review. Methodology follows, which afterwards follows the results, then the discussion. Acknowledgements can be included, and then this is followed by the references. Additional components that can be included in a research paper include appendices, which are found at the end or after the references, and theoretical framework, which can be found sometimes between the literature review and the methodology. What are the purpose of these parts that we just highlighted? Firstly, the title section of the research paper alerts the reader to the topic and creates curiosity to draw the reader in. For as was presented in the research paper by Letitia Foran, a question was presented so as to create this curiosity. The abstract, which is the part in the research paper which follows the title, gives a snapshot to the reader. Generally, the abstract is a paragraph long and allows the reader to decide whether to read the full paper by quickly presenting key points. The introduction, which follows the abstract, is the first major section of text in the paper. Commonly, the introduction describes the topic under investigation and summarizes or discusses relevant prior research, whilst identifying unresolved issues that the current research will address. In addition, it provides an overview of the research that is to be described in greater detail in the sections to follow, such as the methodology. Also, the introduction includes the rationale. The review of literature serves a very important role within the research paper. This section provides foundation of knowledge on the topic. Also, it identifies areas of prior scholarship to prevent duplication and gives credit to other researchers. This section is very important to the research paper as it identifies inconsistencies as well as identifying the need for additional research, thereby justifying the research. Furthermore, it identifies the relationship of works in the context of its contribution to the topic and to other works. The theoretical framework also serves an important role to the research paper, as it introduces a theory that will explain why the research problem under study exists to begin with. The methodology then follows the theoretical framework. This section is important and serves a crucial role to the research paper, as it details how the research was performed. It typically features a description of the participants' subjects that were involved, the study design, the materials that were used, and the study procedure. If there were multiple experiments, then each experiment may require a separate method section. Generally, the method section should be sufficiently detailed so as to allow another researcher to duplicate the research. The benefits and limitations section of the research paper serves an important role, as it helps to strengthen the study by identifying problems before researchers or reviewers even are able to find them. In addition, it shows that the researcher has considered the impact of the research weaknesses thoroughly, and thus doing so has an in-depth understanding of the research topic. The results and discussion section of the research paper, also known as the finding and analysis, serves an important role, as It helps as the results section states the findings without bias or interpretation and is arranged in a logical sequence. Then the discussion section dissects the results provided and analyzes them and brings further context to the objective data that was collected through the various methodology. The conclusion also serves an important role within a research paper as it is intended to help the reader understand why the research should matter to them after they have finished reading the paper. It should be noted that a conclusion is not merely a summary of the points or restatement of the research, but a synthesis of key points. In the conclusion, the researcher has the opportunity to introduce possible new ways of expanded ways of thinking about the research problem. The references also serve an important role within the research paper as it gives due credit to the information sourced within the paper. Now, how is this research paper formatted? Generally, the research papers are formatted using APA guidelines. Therefore, the paper should be 8.5 by 11 with 1-inch margins on the top, bottom and sides as shown in the diagram to the right. The font should be 12-point Times New Roman with the lines double spaced. Also, each page needs a left-aligned running header with the title. Furthermore, formatting of the research paper includes the need for the cover page to be in APA standard. The title should not be bolded, but the individual sections are able to be. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation.